Yo, apprentices, acolytes, coming into the Dark Temple visited by Mara Jade, Luke Skywalker, and Kyle Katarn, and so many of the Force sensitives like yourself. I'm Lord Dagovere, and your boy is late. Hello. It's so good to see you, Leon, Anthony, Logan the frickin' legend, Rebel Soldier Dom. Haven't seen you in a while, my guy. Skywalker Academy, Anthony. Can I get, for the first time today, inside the chat? Ready up. Let's go. Let's go. How you guys doing today? How are you guys doing today? It's so good to see you. Thank you so much for coming. You guys want to see? You guys want to see some really cool? This really cool shirt I got that I've been waiting. So frick! Look at this. Look at this thing. Ready? 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 You guys know. You guys know. You guys know. I like the drip. Whoo! Shit! Shit! So good. So good, baby. Shit! Oh my gosh. Let's go. It's great, dude. It's so good. I'm so hyped about it, man. It's freaking nice, dude. It is, right? It's so good. Yeah, it's good. It's good, dude. It's a nice shirt, man. Yeah, I'm going in there all the time, man. You know I gotta rep my boy Anakin, the chosen one, baby. Let's freaking go. So how you guys doing, man? How's everybody doing? Huh? I know it's been really crazy with all the announcements and everything that's going on. I want to talk about the Kotor remake stuff. I probably want to talk about that the most because Game Awards is this Thursday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm debating about streaming it. If I do stream it, it's actually going to be on the Starlight Pod. So if you guys, I know I saw some. I think Gage is in there quite a bit, which is really cool. So definitely gonna have to go check that out. Gage isn't here right now, is he? I haven't seen him, but yeah, man, I think it's really interesting how the Kotor remake stuff is happening. Oh my gosh, Gorilla Pound Cake, my guy inside the chat on TikTok. Yo, can I get a ready up? Let's freaking go. Pretty good, fam. I'm good, man. Work has been very busy. It's it's holiday and I work in marketing, so it's very, very difficult. It's around this time. I want to say this week is probably going to be the busiest, and then every week it's going to be very slow until, of course, early January. But yeah, man, damn, haven't typed that in a minute. I know, right, dude? It's been a while, dude. I hope you're doing well. Thanks for coming over to the stream, dude. It's really cool. I really appreciate that. But guys, if you hadn't noticed, we're going to be doing all these like little takes on stream. So TikTok, if you can't see it, I am so sorry. But first thing is first. Very interesting that we got here, guys. 50th anniversary for Star Wars. They are going to be putting in select theaters the original 1977 Star Wars. I think that's crazy. You know, I don't know if you guys know, but like if you did not see Star Wars around that time, I'm pretty sure 99% of people inside this chat wasn't alive during it then. How select is select? It's supposed to be in select theaters. Like, from what I'm understanding, it's going to be like, I don't know if you guys have ever seen like anime in theaters. It seems like how the Dragon Ball Z movies were, where they first were coming out, like that's select. Like this is only going to happen in certain type of cities that are going to be doing it. I know a lot of people couldn't see Revenge of the Sith or Return of the Jedi when it first appeared. So who knows? Maybe this is going to be something similar. And that catches my eye quite a bit, actually. So I'm very curious to see what it is. I mean, I live in Florida. There's a lot of cities around where I'm going to be able to do it. But I think like if you're in a random state, that may be crazy. You may have to go somewhere else. But this is the original Star Wars. This is like the original, unfiltered, non-edited. I actually think a lot of people are gonna hate it. Honestly, I think a lot of people don't understand, like, especially if you're someone that has never seen like some of the original edits. Is like on YouTube. Hello Greedo made a huge freaking video about this. It's amazing, and you can really see like honestly like how much better a lot of the new stuff is, just how revamped it is. But I think this is a great opportunity for people to see history, like what it was, and that's why I want to see it, is because like I wasn't alive during that time. I was, however, during alive for the prequels, and I think this is going to be a historic moment for a lot of Star Wars fans. You can be there now, just like all these other older fans talk about how they saw Star Wars and they have more privilege about criticizing it than you do. So now you have a chance to see it. I think if you love Star Wars and this is your passion, this is a historic moment. They usually don't do this. So definitely go out and try it, get it if you can. I've watched the original recently. I have it on VHS. Oh, nice, awesome. Even oh yeah, so VHS like completely unfiltered, because I know there's quite a few VHS that have some augments or some type of improvements on them. Skywalker Academy says, as a film guy, just seeing it for the history is something I would love to see. That's exactly it. I just want to see for the history. Like I'm so tired of hearing about how George didn't want anyone else to see that original version ever again, because he seems pretty like frustrated that the technology wasn't around. And I think everybody and their mother has heard about like how crazy like that first Star Wars was and how they barely got it up and running. So I think that alone is going to be really interesting. But man, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be like really, 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 really upset. I think when they see like how different it is. Thank you, Papa. I appreciate your what's it called? Your animu. Skywalker Anthony says, I was 9 years old when I saw it. That's crazy, man. Yeah, dude. That's insane. It's crazy it's been around that long, honestly, dude. I'm pretty sure mine don't. Han at least is the only one who pews. Interesting. So you have the Han shot first. Yeah, I'm really curious. Oh, that's so awesome, man. I would love to see that. I don't even know like what that original VHS looks like, man. I won't hate it. Yeah, I don't. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that are gonna understand that. Hey, this is like really important for us to watch. I'm gonna watch it. I'm definitely gonna watch it. I think it's gonna be fun. If you guys can watch it, let me know. I think it's gonna be pretty interesting to see everyone else. You look like Kylo Ren. Wow, thank you so much. I probably discount Kylo Ren. I would say dollar store Kylo Ren. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a very big compliment. I really appreciate that. And that they're confident enough to already have a sequel of... Oh, okay, so Leon, yeah, you want to talk about the KOTOR stuff. Yeah, we're going to talk about the KOTOR stuff, I promise. I promise, Leon, we're going to talk about it. I just wanted to take a couple other looks at something. Was there a TikTok that I wanted to... Okay, so you know what? We might as well just get into this, huh? All right. So let's get into the nitty-gritty. Let's get into the KOTOR stuff that everybody wants to talk about. So the first thing that happened this last week, I would say, is this. So Star Wars News Network, Star Wars Newsnet had come out and said there's a big Star Wars game announcement and it's rumored to be coming soon. It is not related to next year's Star Wars Zero Company or Eclipse. I think it's really interesting that they mentioned Eclipse because I personally just feel like Eclipse is never coming out. I think it's in a worse state than Knights of the Old Republic. But Star Wars Zero Company, we already know is on its way. It's one of the IPs that we had talked about earlier this year, and it looks really good. I'm actually very excited, especially for XCOM in general. Now, I think what's interesting here is that Jedi 3 is talked about, and then they also have like Total War and the Battlefront. I know there's a Civilization game that's supposed to be in the making right now for Star Wars, but Knights of the Old Republic is the one we all want to know what the flip is happening with Knights of the Old Republic. So the plot thickens. Then later, I would say earlier, I would say maybe on the weekend, then we get another post. And this is from someone who apparently does reporting in gaming. And this person says that there is a Knights of the Old Republic game being announced. Or so, there is a video game being announced very soon, and it has the title, it has the words in the title, The Old Republic. And the one thing I do not like about this is that I think that the person that was saying that is kind of baiting you. Because they don't say it's a Knights of the Old Republic game. They're saying the Old Republic is in the title. The Old Republic can mean so many things. It could literally mean before Revenge of the Sith. And I think that's where the issue is. But what's interesting here is this guy made this entire thread about this lawsuit apparently that's happening with Knights of the Old Republic and Lucasfilm and Asper Studios and Saber Interactive. Now, he goes on to talk about how there is... Let's see. So I've had one of the most detailed stories I've ever run, an inside look at the year-long struggle to make KOTOR, Knights of the Old Republic 2, cut content available on the game's Switch port. Now, if you don't know, Knights of the Old Republic has like an insane amount of cut content. If you guys want to check it out, you can always go to the Reddit post, the Reddit's subreddit for Knights of the Old Republic. They do God's work over there. They're amazing. Shoutouts to them. And they will always help you try to install or find mods that help you have the completed game as best as they can with mods for all of Knights of the Old Republic and all the content that was cut from that game. That game was not finished when it released. There was so many assets that they reused just to try to make and release the game when it first came out, the second game. So it's really interesting to see that Lucasfilm / Disney apparently was trying to make a Knights of the Old Republic 2 remake with all of the cut content in it. And if anybody has ever done any digging on Knights of the Old Republic, like there are so many voice lines and assets that hadn't been used or couldn't be used. I actually had all of Treya's voice lines downloaded on my computer at once. I even have some too, actually, on my soundboard.
Learn from me and use that knowledge to become greater than I. At last you have arrived.
Yeah, I think I have. I think let me hear.
At last you have arrived.
You can't even hear that, can you? Maybe you can. My headphones are off because I'm a freaking boomer. So, but all of those...
Have you come with questions? Ask, and I will answer.
All of those sound bits that you were hearing is from a huge archive of like Darth Treya stuff that I have on my computer. I had at one time, and this was like every single line that she said in the game, and it goes on and on and on from like Atten and every character that's in there. HK, it's insane, and the fact that they were trying to actually make a Knights of the Old Republic 2 remake with the cut content, and this stuff has been in here for a bit from earlier this year. I think was the most recent stuff, and I think that is probably very interesting because what this person is saying is that Asper tried to officially add the restored content to the mobile version, and it was blocked. Then they announced it for Switch, and it wasn't done. It wasn't a done deal. And then they tried multiple remedies considered, including changing the mod's non-union voice actor to an alien language, a VO to an I don't think that's voice actor. It's a VO to an alien language. There's a lot of stuff in this whole thing, but I think this is behind a paywall. And I think what's really interesting is that apparently there actually is a Knights of the Old Republic 2 remake that is happening from Lucasfilm and Saber Interactive. And Saber Interactive has done a lot of remakes in their history. I think they even helped with the Halo remakes back in the day, the Halo Anniversary. So I think that's really, 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 really interesting because why would you make the second one if you haven't made the first one yet? Yeah. So I think that is probably the most interesting thing right now. Arguably Jabba the Hutt, and it's decidable because he didn't really have a big part, as he just known. Oh my god, I forgot Jabba being a human, of course. Oh my god, I wonder if that's gonna. I can't wait to see that actually. I wonder if it's actually gonna be Jabba in the original. That's gonna be really cool. Just give me Dark Forces 2 remake. That would be really cool. I like all of it, dude. Gage and SJ, thank you so much for coming to the stream. Also, I did see somebody else. And Ryder, everybody welcome Ryder, Logan, and of course, SJ and Gage into the chat with a ready up. So, yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? Trent, thank you so much for being here. Make sure you, everybody welcome Trent with a ready up. What do you guys think, man? I know the Game Awards is this Thursday, but here's the thing. We haven't even gone over like the other game stuff. So here's the thing, guys. The Game Awards is this Thursday, and that guy was talking about how there is a game that's going to be announced very soon, and it has the Old Republic in the title. My personal opinion is that it's not Knights of the Old Republic. I think it's going to be Star Wars The Old Republic, and I think it's going to be coming to console. That's what I think. I think it's going to be Star Wars The Old Republic coming to console. I think that if it was a Knights of the Old Republic game, he would have said that it's a Knights of the Old Republic game. Or it could be something worse and better, and it can be a completely new game. A completely new game. We're excited to announce we are working with 036 Studio and CCG Lab to develop a brand new digital collectible card game where players can battle across the Star Wars galaxy. Stay tuned for future updates. This is the game for sure. And you know what? And since it's a TCG game, it's probably going to be Legends of the Old Republic. Heroes of the Old Republic. I don't know. I don't know, man. So here's my take. How do you guys feel about a TCG game in Star Wars? I want to see your guys' take. Personally, I love it. I love the idea of a TCG game in Star Wars, but they already have a TCG physical game. And I have a couple issues with it because it's very specific on which eras they're going into, and they only recently started dipping into the Old Republic. But I think a TCG digital game can work, and I'm going to explain why. I'm not a huge fan, just not for me. I understand. I don't think a lot of people are interested in TCG, especially if you're not someone that played Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Pokemon or anything of that realm. I totally understand that. Rebel Dom says, if they drop Kotor 1 Remake at the Game Awards, I'm going to get so hyped. Same here. I'm going to flip. You're going to see my fucking face all over goddamn Nerd Erotics channel again, and he's going to shit-talk me about how I'm a Disney shield just like he did last time. You know? Because I'm one of those people. I get really excited about the shit I like. You know, I can't filter it, guys, you know. SJ says Star Wars Jedi Academy, that would be amazing. But remember, it has Old Republic in the title. Logan, I want to hear your thoughts on this. Leon says the Avengers Doomsday trailer also got leaked. Apparently, the leaks the last 24 hours have been crazy. Really? I'm not gonna see that. I'm not really into leaks. I don't like the whole leak shit. I play Hearthstone, so I would try it. Oh, actually, that's really cool. I don't know if you guys. I'm showing my age. I don't know if you guys remember back on the Xbox 360, there was a game for Magic the Gathering, and it was pretty cool. It was pretty sick. That actually got me interested in Magic the Gathering, and you could actually team up with your friends and fight a boss in that game. So everybody was fighting the king. It was really cool. It really got me interested. I like the mechanics. If they could do something like that for Star Wars, I'd be interested. That'd be really awesome. Skywalker Caddy says, not my cup of tea, but if it's like going from Witcher 3, but Star Wars, then I'll give it a shot. Rebel Soldier Domo said, imagine if it's an open world Old Republic game. But I don't think it is. You want to know why? Is because that announcement that Star Wars, I think this is very similar to what Star Wars had said before Zero Company was announced. And the biggest thing for me here is this. We are excited to announce we're working with 036 Studio and CCG. And then at the end, it says, stay tuned for future updates. That to me means like it's happening soon. You know? David Torres in the chat. Everybody welcome David Torres with a ready up. Let's go. Play Pokemon. I just got out of the cards. I feel I still play Pokemon. I would love to buy Pokemon cards, but it's impossible if you're not a scalper. It's insane. Skywalker Academy says, I love new Star Wars games that's like open world, but like Hogwarts Legacy, creating your own Jedi and going on adventures, exploring. I just don't think it's ever going to happen, man. I don't think Lucasfilm, I don't want to say cares. It's just I don't think Lucasfilm has the control like they did back where it was LucasArts. I think that everything is such a crazy funnel of money, and video games are so hard to make. And you need lots of control and people to buy into the idea of making a multiplayer game. I want an open world multiplayer game so bad. I don't want Star Wars The Old Republic. I've played Star Wars The Old Republic for so many years. I want something new. You know? I want something new. I want something where I can play and enjoy. Like Star Wars Outlaws, honestly, on paper, is exactly what I wanted. But I wanted multiplayer, and I wanted to make my own character, you know? Maybe a Force sensitive, maybe a bounty hunter, you know? That's what I wanted. And I wish I got that, but I didn't. I got single player, you know? Brandon says, I'm too poor to see cards in my... I understand that. It's very difficult to find them, and when they do, they're inflated. Shark Hornet says, I have a question for the ending of Master of Evil. No spoilers yet. I don't know if you want to talk about the ending. I'm not finished with it, but I think that book is damn good, and it's very good. But I'm not. But there's a lot of people I know in the chat that are reading it. SJ says, in general, I don't know what the game Politics Star Wars is following. Feels like everybody wants a new Battlefront or KOTOR, but I feel like they are trying different genres, and I don't know why. I think that's a very great observation because, yes, SJ, you are correct. Nobody is asking for the games that we are getting. You know, I think a very small margin of people are asking for them because I'm someone, and I'll tell you why I think the card game can work. And that's because Star Wars can have every single genre of video games. It can have a sports game. It can have a strategy game. It can have a fighting game. It can have a MOBA. You know, it can have a hero shooter. You know, it can have anything. It really can. An FPS. You know, a thoughtful combat game, obviously, with like Jedi Fallen Order / Elden Ring. There's anything that we can do, you know. You can even do a space game, open universe, which I doubt they're ever going to do because, you know, Disney. But yes, SJ, I believe you are correct. No one is asking for a lot of these games. And if they are, it's a very small margin of people because majority of people are asking for Battlefront 3 and Knights of the Old Republic, or a open world multiplayer Mandalorian Grand Theft Auto game. You know, I think that is probably the biggest catch that you can do to make money. You know, but that is the thing, as I feel like, is why don't we try these other games that we know are safe? But here's the thing too. If Star Wars Outlaws didn't perform well, and Galaxy of Heroes didn't perform well, and that mobile iPhone game that was like a Lego / Star Wars game that no one remembers didn't perform well, or Star Wars Hunters that was in development for 4 or 5 years ends up shipping to a simple territory in Europe, doesn't ship in NA, and fails on arrival and gets canceled to the point the servers are gone and you can't do anything even with all the cosmetics that you bought in the game. What are we doing in terms of decision making for making Star Wars games? That is the what the hell are we doing, guys? That is millions of dollars being lost. And all I can think of is if we decided to put that money that we made with those games into something like a Mandalorian open world game where you can play with your friends in a ship that is basically your house with custom character and open world and one mega server for everyone to mess around with. A giant social hub / Grand Theft Auto mechanic where you're going out and get bounty hunters and force users and hunt down renegade Imperials and whatnot. Or Battlefront 3 or Jedi Fallen Order, Inquisitors versus Fallen Jedi, and give me a Splinter Cell Spies versus Mercenaries game mode. That would basically be your spiritual tribute to the Jedi Knight series. You know, that is my question. You know, and again, you guys know that I'm very down to earth. I don't really try to attack anybody. I just have a lot of questions about why are we doing this when we know this doesn't work, but people are asking for this, and you could have put those resources and assets into that. You know, that is my biggest thing. That is my biggest issue. I feel like Star Wars Galaxies 2. That is another fantastic idea, but I just feel like MMOs are just too expensive these days, man. It's so frustrating. Yeah, man. I think it's difficult too, because I think video games are harder to make than movies, because you're spending so much money with video games. You're not making any money in the development part. Obviously, movies you are too, but video games are in development far longer than a lot of movies. You know, I think that's the biggest issue. You know, Turtle Bomb. Oh my gosh, Daddy Sheev in the chat. Everybody, welcome Daddy Sheev with a ready up. Logan says, imagine Planetside 2, but Star Wars, massive battlefield. That is the perfect game to have the Clone Wars in. It's a perfect game to have the Dark Times and the Empire. I think that's exactly what you need, you know. But again, Logan, it's just like, this isn't the era of LucasArts. It's the era of Disney-owned Lucasfilm. And you really need to convince people, just like how they convinced people with Andor, to throw money into this when you know you're going to lose money. And that's just not how the business runs. You know, that's just not how it is. If someone like me were a part of this and I had billions of dollars to just throw at this IP franchise, I understand and I would be okay with the idea of losing money because I love it. But that's the problem when you have someone like George Lucas sell his child to Disney, and because you're not going to get that. You know, everything at the end of the day is going to be made for profit, you know, and that is the biggest problem. So I think it's just going to be really hard to get that Star Wars Galaxies 2, you know, that Knights of the Old Republic MMO, you know, SWTOR 2, you know, or KOTOR 3, you know, it's just really freaking difficult. And unless you're hiring another company, another studio like NetEase and Marvel Rivals. NetEase and Marvel Rivals is doing a fantastic job. They have an IP. They have a hero shooter, which is really easy to do, especially with characters like Marvel. You can literally copy-paste that and put that into Star Wars. And you can have characters from 40 years of Legends and then new canon and put them all together. And guess what? It doesn't matter if you think Rey is a Skywalker or Jedi Knight fully redeemed Revan is the greatest character in the fucking world. You are playing that game because both of those characters are in that game. And it's just insane to me that that hasn't happened yet. Actually, it has. It happens with Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, which is a mobile game that a lot of people don't even know it exists. And it's a very grindy, nasty, not fun game. You know, now if it was a hero shooter, an MMO, a fighting game, a MOBA, you know, like Dota or League of Legends, okay, that would be great. A lot of people would play it. There might be an esports with a competitive circuit, you know, another way that Disney can make money. But it doesn't seem like these things are on their priority, you know. And that's the reason why I think this game can work. I think this is a very good step in the direction, guys. I think that this right here is very good. You want to know why? You want to know why I think it's good? It's because it's going to make fucking money. You want to know why? It's going to make money. You want that Revan holographic? Put the goddamn thing in the game. You want Padme from Clone Wars all scratched up, super rare? Put it in the game. You want Rey Skywalker and Kylo Ren, World Between Worlds? Put it in the game. Make sure they pull them. Get people to react to them. Put it on stream. Because that's what Pokemon does. Pokemon makes the most freaking money out of any franchise in the world. And if you want to have a cash cow, like something that is lucrative and is always making money, I think this is a very good idea. You just have to execute on a level that Pokemon does. Is it going to be as successful as Pokemon? I don't think so. But I think that's a good step in the right direction. I think that's a very good step in the right direction, you know. That's exactly how I feel about it. I hope it's good. If it's a good game, I'm going to get it because I like TCG. But I just don't know. I don't know about the execution on these things. Do it. Yes, do it indeed. Yo, Bugsy, thanks so much for being in the chat. Everybody welcome Grand Admiral Gunnar Bugsy with a ready up. Gage says, I think the SWTOR is active. They don't see a need for a new MMO. Still somehow makes money. Yes, it does, because it's one of the only video games, if not the only video game, that has Legends content and still makes Legends content. Star Wars The Old Republic is insane because it's run by a goddamn skeleton crew and the game is still busting out story. The game looks so much better when I used to play it back in 2012, every single freaking Friday and Saturday till 6 o'clock in the morning, because I was talking to the NPCs because I had no friends, and the only people I ever saw was people on the Jung Ma server or the Phoenix server. You know, now it was the Steel Shun, and your boy was one of the best assassins in the game. But I was playing by myself, so it didn't matter. I had no one to talk to. But I love that MMO. And I do think that it should have come to console. And I think console was a very realistic idea for a time. It may just be too late. I don't know what game we're going to get at Games Award. I don't know if there is even going to be a game announced. But I need to know what it is soon, man. Because everybody critiques live action Star Wars, but the thing that they really need to critique more is Star Wars video games, man. I don't know how you have such an amazing IP with so many characters and thousands of years of lore, and you don't have a single brand new multiplayer social hub experience. It's crazy to me. It's insane. I can literally rant about that for hours, but I'm sure you guys don't want to hear me bitch about it. So I won't do that. Gage says, NetEase also just released a free MMO Souls-like game where winds meet. Yes, where the winds meet. I also have that game. That is also fantastic, you know? It's so... I just don't understand. You want to make profit. Why are you not going out to one of those companies and hiring them? Here's the Star Wars IP. Here you go. All right, here you go. We have... See, that was the other thing. Oh, here we go, guys. You guys are gonna make me crash the fuck out, man. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to be a bigger person. SJ says, we're going to watch potential new Star Wars game trailer next stream. Yeah, absolutely. I'm still debating about streaming for the Game Awards, but I have the Starlight podcast, so I might do it with them. Gage says, MMOs are really difficult on consoles because of the amount of keys you need to hit. Yes, but we have different types of hardware these days. It's not as hard. Where the winds meet, or when the winds meet, that game that I'm playing, it works well. You know, Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate is another fantastic game that has so many inputs, and it plays well on the PlayStation. It plays well on the Xbox. You know, I just feel like if you want to make a game, make the goddamn game. You know, just do it. But that I don't think people want to make a game. I think they want to make money. And that's the difference, you know? Discord watch party. Yeah, I would love that. That'd be cool. You guys know I do that stuff with you guys. Let's go live for the pod. I'm down, Daddy Sheev. We can do it. I'm down. By the way, guys, Turtle Bomb Bro is one of the people we do the podcast with. Make sure you shout him out. Say hello. Lend him your energy, please. Leon says the Game Awards is a cringe fest circus that no one takes seriously. I don't recommend streaming it. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. I usually do what people don't recommend. It's all right. We won't even have to watch the whole thing. I'm just gonna be there and just talking about Star Wars most of the time. Yeah, but I'm down. Oh yeah, Discord VC. Yo, Logan, would you do that? I'm down, dude. I think that's really cool. I do, but mind you guys, I do have the Starlight Pod and that's probably going to be the biggest priority. So I'm definitely okay to do that. But yeah, I would like to do it. Oh man, you know, I think that Star Wars video games are in such a weird void. I really don't like it. You know, it's what. Let me ask you guys a question. What is your ideal Star Wars video game that you want? Like, genuinely, you know, I want to hear this from the people that don't like The Last Jedi. I want to hear this from the people that love everything that Disney has done. Okay, I need to understand what it is you need that you haven't been given yet. That's what I need to know. You know, it's tough. The only good part about those is the new game trailers. You can just watch those online. Yeah, I do miss the experience of E3. It was very fun. Daddy Sheep says, ideal Battlefield 2 is still peak 20 years on. Yeah, I could play that game forever. I like that game. You know, I thought Battlefront 2 was fantastic. The only reason why I am not playing Battlefront 2 right now is because it has no crossplay. That's it. If that game has crossplay, I'm playing that game for the next 10 years. I will play that game so much that Xbox and PlayStation will have to send an agent to my house, break in as if I was swatted, and take out the consoles and put new ones in with other video games because they're so tired of me playing that goddamn game myself. That's how much I would play that game. I love that game. I think that game has such an insane comeback story, and I hated it when it released. I thought it was just such a joke of a game. But, you know, they took all that criticism, they removed loot boxes, and it's probably one of the greatest comeback stories in gaming, in my opinion, is Battlefront 2. Dago Discord Battlefront match? Yes, please. I miss that game, man. Brandon says, Luke and Leia's first meeting in Ahsoka and finding out about their aunt. That would be really cool. I hope that happens, man. I'm very excited for Ahsoka. I love that show. I know the choreography is trash. I know the first 2 episodes are trash. But I like a lot about that show. It's just me. It's just one of those. It's one of my guilty pleasures. You know, I know it's but I love it. Skywalker Academy says, my ideal Star Wars game is a single-player open-world game where you create your own Jedi set during the High Republic era. Lots of potential there. Yeah, you know, I actually think that was one of the reasons why the High Republic didn't do... Well, I don't want to say didn't do good. It did well. I would say that one of the reasons why the High Republic didn't catch Old Republic fans or Legends fans outside of me, because you guys know I like the High Republic. And that's because it should have had a video game. You're doing so much media for this. You should have had a video game. I would have even loved an experimental video game. Like, you know, like, do you guys remember, I'm showing my age again. Do you guys remember that Kojima video game, horror game that came out on the PlayStation? It was called PT. It was a demo. It was extremely experimental. It was extremely experimental. And it was like stuff people have never seen before, right? And yeah, I know. Yes. It wasn't a Silent Hill demo, but it showed you at the end it was going to be Silent Hill. So I still had that on my PlayStation until it updated and then it was removed. I wouldn't mind something like that, but for Star Wars. So if I'm in charge of Lucasfilm ideas in terms of pitches, because you guys know I've worked with studios and you guys know I've worked with in stuff. I can't talk about it, but I have credits. I have official credits. So if I was doing these things and I was a part of the Star Wars video game branch, and I saw the Old Republic come on the High Republic come on my table, and I would have said, hey, since we're doing this book, this young child's book and this, how about we make a technological demo for the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox One, since we have partnerships with X, Y, and Z. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a free demo for everybody to download, maybe even on mobile if we get this shit right. And you can create your character. It's going to be very basic. You're probably going to run into people that look like you because we're going to try to save money doing this. But it's also going to be fucking awesome because you're going to be a character in this new era called the High Republic. And you're going to make your character. You're going to make him look cool. You even get to pick the type of lightsaber color you want. Maybe we'll have like 3 or 4 times the amount of lightsaber customization that Jedi Knight Academy has, okay? Or Movie Battles does. And you will be put into this world as a Padawan. And the shuttle is going to take you somewhere as you're creating your character. And you're going to be asking, the person that's going to be asking you questions is actually your master. And you're on a shuttle in hyperspace the entire time. But by the time you show up, you will arrive at your destination. And when you arrive at your destination, you will see the character that you finally created, kind of like a Skyrim thing where the person is asking you questions and you essentially create your character as it's happening, right? And then you get there, and then the place that you are supposed to arrive at is Starlight Beacon. There you go. You just arrived at one of the most important things inside the High Republic. But now, the High Republic is the Starlight Beacon is an entire social hub. An entire social hub. You can walk around this thing, and it feels like an open world, but it's not. We're actually using one giant mega server to fill everybody in. So maybe it's local, maybe it's through countries, very similar to Destiny, how there's a tower, and you go into the tower, and you see people in different ships and stuff flying in, flying out, but it's big enough for you to be interested in. And now this is going to be your entire home through the duration of the High Republic's campaign. And every single thing that happens in the story in Starlight Beacon happens in this one social hub. Maybe seasonal stuff will happen, so maybe you'll see Halloween decorations or Life Day and Christmas, just like they do in Star Wars, The High Republic, or New Year's. But if there is an attack on the Starlight Beacon, you will see it. If the Starlight Beacon is being invaded, you will see it, and you will take part in it. If Starlight Beacon crashes from out of the solar system and into an atmosphere and crash lands and gets pulled into the gravity from another planet, you will witness this inside Starlight Beacon. That would have been my idea. That would have been my idea to do the entire thing. You wouldn't have had to make a game, but you could have made something that people would have been interested the entire time, you know? Did I read the High Republic's books? Yeah, I read all of them. I really enjoyed them. I enjoyed the main books. A lot of the Phase 2 era where they went in the past, it didn't do anything for me. I felt like they killed off a lot of characters just for the sake of killing off characters. I really enjoyed certain people. I felt like one character, I don't want to say because spoilers, was taken away from us too soon, you know. I feel like it also ended quite abruptly. But I don't know. It's just me. I feel like everything these days is marketing. And if you don't market something correctly and the content also doesn't live up to the marketing, I think that's one of the reasons why people are just not going to be into it, you know. And I think they lost a lot of momentum in the second phase when they went back in time. And they should have just kept telling the story. I think going back in time really, really, really hurt that series. You know, you're a genius. I'm okay. I just have glasses. That's all. Appreciate that though. Oh, and with Corp, imagine his Padawan, his master, and Jedi droid. Yeah, dude, that's another thing too. You know, like we live in an age where like Destiny and Star Wars. Yeah, exactly. You know, I think it'd be really easy to do that. But we live in an age where everybody's buying digital content. Like you're buying skins in games. You know, like Fortnite. It's consistently reinventing itself every single season and finds a way to stay relevant. Can Star Wars do that? It's a little bit harder, but for Star Wars fans, there's a lot of things that you can do, especially with different eras, with different planets, with different characters, with different cultures, with different ships. I mean, the list goes on, you know? And I feel like, yes, oh, that new droid is coming out. You know, oh, that new lightsaber is coming out. Oh, that new ship is coming out. Oh, that new planet is coming out, you know? Especially with like pets, you know, Star Wars: The Old Republic MMO does a really good job with like pets. There's so many different pets. There's so many different mounts where like you can ride a dewback, a Reactor like Boga. You can ride a freaking Rancor. You can ride a whatchamacallit, a Rancor that is from a different part of the galaxy, that it also has chains on it and a bionicle arm, you know? And that's, you only get that because you ranked so high in that competitive season. That's what happened with Star Wars: The Old Republic. That's what I got. You know, it's extremely rare. I just don't understand the tactics. It's clear that everybody wants to make money, and you can do these things, in my opinion, in video games. I mean, you see it with NetEase, you see it with Fortnite. I mean, even in Battlefront with like the loot crates, where the loot crates were some of the worst ever, but then you saw Overwatch, who also had loot crates, and Overwatch was doing it right, where you could get skins and random things. You know, I didn't mind loot boxes so much in Overwatch because I felt like I was rewarded way more. It didn't feel like pay to win. It was strictly cosmetic. Where like Battlefront 2 was like, oh yeah, there you go, your Kylo Ren is now fully bought and paid for, you know. It's just it's just a different, I guess, ideology or a different practice that I think that Lucasfilm hasn't really tapped in yet, you know. I just didn't, I don't really understand what are we trying to do, what is the goal, you know. It seems more like I have this idea. Let's just do this idea. Oh, great, that was good. How did that do? Oh, I don't know. Well, the CEO basically said Star Wars is dead IP. That's cool. Great. That doesn't sound like a great idea. I feel like we're never getting a Star Wars Outlaws game ever again now, you know? I don't know, man. What do you guys think? What do I mean about what, Brandon? That's false, bro. Sabers work fine in the High Republic. Yeah, what happened? What happened with the High Republic? Here we go. Brandon says, the High Republic felt like it was trying to push political views, and they forgot how sabers work. Brandon. I don't even know where to begin with that comment. Are you talking about the first comic where Keeve Trennis is falling and she stops herself with a lightsaber? That never happens again. And that guy that wrote that comic also has been writing some of the best books in Star Wars, man. I don't know, man. You know, you've made up your mind, and the political view stuff, I don't even know. I don't want to get into that. Yeah, I mean, I saw it too, and I didn't like it, but like are we going to stop watching the original trilogy when Luke Skywalker and Leia are kissing each other on screen? You know? I'm not saying that mistakes need to be repeated. I'm just saying, like, are we gonna stop something from being made just because we think that this person can't be better or can't learn? You know? I don't know. Kevin Scott has made some of the best books in Star Wars. Dooku Jedi Lost is amazing. Rising Storm is the best High Republic book and one of the best books in Star Wars. And the reason why is because he loves Darth Bane. He never was a fan of the Star Wars movies. He became a fan of the Star Wars movies because he liked the expanded universe first, and then he watched the movies. He's one of the most interesting people, you know. I understand what you mean, Brandon, and I don't want to attack your views, especially considering how you view the High Republic. But I do think that you are missing out on some solid Star Wars. Not the best, but I think you're missing out on some solid Star Wars. Sweet Home in Tatooine. I'm actually reading Splinters of the Mind's Eye right now, dude. Yes. Yeah, I don't. I really did not like what that Ubisoft guy said, man. I thought that was like insane when he said that. You know, I don't even. To me, as like, if I'm a CEO, why would I even talk shit about an IP that literally paid me money to make a game? You know, even if I thought like the IP was like crap, wouldn't I still want their money to make a game? It just it seems so weird, and I also just think it's weird too because he basically trashed like not just the IP but everybody that worked hard on that game because yeah, the game is like not what I want it to be, but the game is not bad and it's actually very beautiful. The devs were actually nice enough to freaking talk to me about like all the work that went into it, and they were showing me like pictures and landscapes of stuff that they had shown and they put it to the game. Like some of those planets were awesome, man. I just wish I could play with friends. I wish I could have made my own character, made my own speeder, you know? Yeah, you know, it is what it is. I don't think it needs to be stopped. I'm glad people enjoy it. It's just not for me. That's totally understandable, Brandon. I appreciate that view. That's cool. Yeah, I mean, I can tell you one thing. One criticism that I did not like the art of the High Republic. It did not feel like other eras of Star Wars, but I guess that's also the uniqueness of the High Republic too. Is if I'm looking at Chris Trevis art, if I'm looking at Tommy Lee Edwards, okay, and if you guys don't know, those are like just some of like the best artists in like the expanded universe for Star Wars. Just literally look up Chris Trevis Star Wars, Tommy Lee Edwards Star Wars. You'll see what I'm talking about. You know, Ryan Church, all those type of things. I think that when you look at that type of art, it's this is the High Republic, and this is the only way it looks in all of Star Wars. That's how I felt about it, but I think it represents the era really well for the people that like it, you know? And I think that's fine, you know? Like, for instance, you guys know me, man. Look at my freaking shirt, okay? Look at the goddamn Old Republic shrine behind me. I like Old Republic shit, you know? I like a lot of stuff. I like new and old canon, you know? New and Legends. But, like, there's just things that I really like, you know? And when I see a Chris Trevis Darth Revan or a Tommy Lee Edwards Old Republic, you know, that I'm just like, damn, that's it. Give it to me again. Please, inject this shit into my veins. You know, and I really only felt like that with certain books and art books for the High Republic, and not all of it. You know, some of it I just felt like, you know, especially the comics, man. The comics were really hard to get behind. Gage says, I'm opposite. I think the designs in the High Republic are great. The robes. Oh, no. Yeah, no. I'm not dissing the designs. I think the High Republic needs to look the way it does. I think especially in the Acolyte, I think they look fabulous. And I love how it's represented and the tone that it is. It's just not what I would have done. That's all. I guess that I could say. It's just like I like the look of the Old Republics. You know, I like the look of which I think is a very underrated look. Logan might know. I think that post-Empire, you know, heir to the Empire, the Mara Jade, you know, the Lumaya look, you know, Darth Cadus, you know, that, I don't know, man. That type of art that I always look is just like, ooh, like, okay, even like Tales of the Jedi, you know, when I see Exar Kun, whew, I don't know, man. It's just every era has its drip and aura. And that shit swings, man. It just looks so good. The High Republic does what it does, you know. But if I was a brand new Star Wars fan that was introduced to a certain era of the expanded universe, I think it would be very hard for me to get into the High Republic because it looks different, you know. And in my opinion, it looks like fantasy different and not science fantasy, if that makes any sense. It's just very, very noble and bright, you know, almost even angelic Magic the Gathering, you know, very Planeswalker-esque, if that makes any sense, which is fine. It's just, I just thought maybe it went a little too far with some of the feeling that it had in it. But again, I don't think it's bad at all. It's just, I like that, and this is what they did, you know. XRQ is the oral farm. Yeah, he is, man. He is. Every single day. Logan says, I think the High Republic aesthetic looks better in the Acolyte than what I see in the... Yes, no, I agree, 100%. I agree, Logan, 100%. I think that... But everything looks better in live action. You know, most of the time, you know. But yes, I agree, Logan, 100%. You know. But that's also what I'm saying, too, is like, Jedi Fallen Order, or Jedi Survivor. Dagon, what's his name? The frickin' Jedi that frickin' Dagon punk-ass naked guy that sits in the frickin' tube and then gets naked in front of Cal Kestis and bleeds the goddamn crystal right in front of him like a freak. Dagon, thank you. That guy, that shit would turn me off so bad, bro. That shit was insane. I don't think people really understand how crazy that scene is. He gets out, and he's like, oh, you're a Jedi. All right, well, I've been in this shit for like hundreds of years. I'm about to take off my clothes, and I'm about to inject all my negative spirit into this freaking crystal and bleed it, baby, right in front of Cal Kestis. Dude, if I was Cal Kestis, I would have been tripping out. Dude, this guy's geeked. He just got out, dude. What is he doing? You know, that was crazy. The way he does it right in front of Cal, man, that was... I don't know, man. I was like, oh, you doing this here? This is interesting, dude. Yeah, he is. Yeah. But all right, but what I was saying is, you know, he's a High Republic Jedi, was a High Republic Jedi. I think the robes looked really good in that game. I think he looked very good in his robes. And I just think it's the way the art comes off. Speak, Lord Dagovere. Jesus. Brandon says, I don't think it needs to be stopped. I already read that. I am so sorry. With 4 eyes, I can't see shit. Nebula says, likely recently during the High Republic era, we've seen Jedi use lightsabers underwater. Recon Kick Fisto. Yes, of course, in the old Jedi stuff. Yeah. It's I don't... I know Brandon was thinking about a certain thing, and that I don't think was a good look for the High Republic at first. But everything else I really like, you know. Again, Logan, I think there's parts of it that you would like for sure, especially Rising Storm. I think you would like Rising Storm a lot. I think Rising Storm is one of the best books, you know. But the rest of it, yes, is kind of a work. It's kind of you know. Leon says, who should have been the main villain, which is Dagon Gar. Thank you guys for backing me up. I appreciate that. You guys are freaking awesome. Always thought it was weird in KOTOR referenced Tales so much, but changed the art style completely. Yes. But I don't know. I guess I'm contradicting myself. I don't mind when the art changes and evolves. I just felt the High Republic needed something a little bit more in terms of the art to make me feel like this was a Star Wars art or a Star Wars book. You know, that's it. It was just a little too different for me and just me. That's it. You know, because outside of that, I really love a lot of the art, man. You know, I don't know. Maybe if they got someone like Ryan Church, you know, or someone to like help out with some of the stuff. But a lot of the artists that they have are fantastic. They are very, very, very talented. Cal is low-key freaking out in the background. Rebels Dom says, really random, but I could see the actor that played Dengara in Survivor play as live-action Griffith. That is not a bad take. That is not a bad take, honestly. Skywalker Academy says, I think that's why Acolyte robes look off to me. It's missing the detail the robes should have had like the gold. I don't know. I thought they were pretty gold, you know? Master Indira and Soul. I thought they were pretty gold. Even Kel Naka's was pretty solid. I mean, I thought a lot of the attire in that show looked good. I just had a problem with a lot of other things. Rebel Dom says, I've heard that Rising Storm is peak. Can't wait to get into that book. It's amazing, man. I literally, dude, like, what I would do is read Bane Path of Destruction right before you read that book, and then read Rising Storm. And Kevin Scott will tell you exactly why he loves Bane and the Dark Knight and the Rule of Two trilogy so much as he's writing the Rising Storm. Like it's literally a love letter. It's so good. It's so good, man. Like it's Light of the Jedi is a little tough to get by, which is the first book in the High Republic. And then you read the Rising Storm and you're like, oh yeah, baby. This is what I've been waiting for. I think Light of the Jedi and Rising Storm are some of the best Star Wars novels, in my opinion, especially for Jedi Betrayal. I think Light of the Jedi is tough and a little confusing, especially for someone in a new era. I think that there's a lot happening. There's a lot of characters, and I thought it was very difficult, for me to have patience to get into this book. I think it is a very hard read, and I think for people that are not interested in a lot of the things that new canon stuff, it's hard. But I mean, not Stupendous Wave. It was who was that guy? Is it Thor Skywalker? I can't remember, dude. I don't watch a lot of people, man. But I remember I saw his review and he liked it. He had criticisms about it, sure, but he liked it. But people aren't going to listen. I remember reading his comments too, and no one was even watching the video. They were just talking about woke this, just whatever, dude. So it is what it is. But yeah, I really like that. I really liked the Rising Storm. I thought the last book was really good. I thought Falling Star was good. There's a lot of good characters, man. Just curious, how did you like the first Battlefront book? I thought it was okay. I think a lot of the video game books in new canon are subpar. I think the last one I tried to read was the one before Jedi Survivor, and I had to stop reading that. Like I stopped reading that, man. It wasn't for me. I just there was other stuff to read and I just couldn't get into it, honestly, man. I think I was like halfway through the book, guys, and yeah. Gage says, Holy Moly, Jedi Survivor Battle Scars may be the worst Star Wars book I read. It was... it even contradicts the game it's setting up. Yeah, I don't... Yeah, man, you guys know me. I don't want to be negative. There's so many other channels that do that. I couldn't get into it. It was probably the most difficult Star Wars book for me. Usually I can find something in every book. But this one, I couldn't even listen to it while I was like working, doing chores. It's not that it wasn't for you. That book specifically, it actually just is. I'm sorry, guys. I apologize, and I'm sorry I'm not trying to be negative. It's just I couldn't get into it. Yeah, that stinks, man. That stinks. I'm sorry. I hope someone out there likes it, man. Skywalker Academy says, I completely forgot that was a thing. Not a best book. Even Cal couldn't save me. Oh man, that's so bad, damn. I'm sure someone likes it, I hope someone likes it. All right, guys, let's see. We have, so we've gone over today, which is pretty cool. That's sick. If you guys haven't already, we have the Discord just about in every single bio and description on all of my videos all over. We have the shorts every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so go check that out. And every single stream is at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Tuesdays. The Game Awards stream is happening Thursday. I will probably try to stream it on the Starlight Podcast stream. If I can't do that, we will probably talk about it after. Yeah, games are coming for sure. I'm actually, I don't know if you could see, but I have all my stuff set up over here. See, oh no, I can't. I moved my damn webcam like an idiot, like I was still working. But I have all this stuff on the side set up. I have my console over here. So I'm slowly setting things up and getting things ready for all the other content we're gonna do, so you guys don't have to see my face and talk. But I'm hoping we have something about Kotor soon, guys. You guys see the shrine. And I know it's so funny because to a lot of the new Disney canon people, they think I'm toxic because I like the Old Republic and I'm an Anakin Skywalker fan. And then to the Legends community, they think I'm a Disney shill. And I think it's really interesting because I'm honestly just like right in the middle. And the only people that know that are the people that join the streams. So I just want to say thank you guys for tolerating my nonsense and being really down to earth about both new canon and Legends, because that's the whole point. It's not about what era you love. It's just about enjoying Star Wars and finding people to talk about it with. You know, you can't win. You just love Star Wars. That is the curse and the blessing at the same time, man. You know, it's so crazy because I always tell you guys this story. You know, when I grew up, I was in high school around the time of the prequels, especially Revenge of the Sith. And when Revenge of the Sith came out and people hated it and they wanted George Lucas to sell Star Wars, and they got their wish, you know? And now they want George Lucas back. So, I don't know, you boys seen a lot with these eyes. All I can say is, like, if you like an era in Star Wars, guys, go out there and enjoy it, man. Don't let anybody take away your happiness. You wearing that Revan profile picture? Cool, man. I'm so hyped for you, you know? You like that Old Republic, Elzar man, Avar Chris type of vibe? Cool. I got some questions, but I dig you know? Anyway, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this. Make sure you get inside the Dark Temple Discord as well. And if you guys don't have any other questions, we'll probably head out here in a couple of minutes. And Dyad and the Force comes into the stream in the last final seconds with a buzzer, baby. Everybody welcome Dyad and the Force with a ready up. Dyad says, same camp. My favorite era is the Old Republic, and I'm a sequel defender. I mean, you know, Dyad. You know, I don't care what those people say. I don't care what all these people say about you. I know who you are, you know? I'm joking, by the way. I really don't talk to that many people outside of Jedi Connor and Daddy Sheev and a few others that actually tolerate my nonsense. But I just got to say, if you're an Old Republic fan and you tolerate anybody in any era, I just got to say you're one of the strongest people, man. You know, because I think as hard as it is to be a Last Jedi fan, dare I say, I think it's also just as hard to be a Old Republic fan, you know? But hold it out, man. Enjoy, find people, talk about it, you know? Because hopefully we'll be feasting soon one day, you know? I know you love Satele. I know you love Satele. I don't know if you saw that video recently. By the way, I was working out the other day and I was watching your your and Chaco's idea, which were actually pretty freaking solid about Ben Solo, by the way. I actually also liked Chaco's idea about the crystal on Exegol. That was pretty sick. The ocean was also pretty cool, and the idea of him being alive through memories, which kind of was what I was talking about with Flow Walk and the Sang Ti. And the Ang Ti, I think that was actually pretty similar, which is actually kind of spooky. But yeah, there's a lot of really interesting ways it could happen. But I really enjoyed that, you know. And I don't even really watch a lot of other creators these days, you know. It's just, you guys are lucky because I'm subscribed to you. So I always see it on my feed when I need to work out or do something, man. But yeah, guys, I really appreciate you all today. And as always, man, you know where the F we be. And anybody that knows Star Wars The Old Republic, you know where we're going. Inside the Dark Temple, visited by Mara Jade, Luke Skywalker, and Kyle Katarn, and so many of the Force sensitives like yourself. I am Lord Dagovere, and I'll see you around. Deuces.